Welcome to another episode of In Case You Forgot, episode number 4. And we have got some stuff to talk about, but real quick, let's introduce the lads. To my right, we got my fellow DC Iron, Costia. How are you?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm doing really well. I just got my phone fixed after not having it for a week and a half, so I'm in a good mood. Just had that watermelon Red Bull, so I'm ready.
That was very professional. I don't know why. You just sounded great right there. And then
it's the mic you got me. It's the mic.
And below we got our Polish correspondent, Alan. How are you?
Oh, good. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone.
And we got my lovely judge, MC Hammer. I was just literally bullshitting that top of my head. I couldn't come up with anything else. But we got Charlie.
One more. Come on, you got this. I believe in you. Anything off the top of your dome. Just give me anything you got. Anything off the top of your dome.
The legislator of Leeds.
Oh, not even close to Leeds.
I know.
I'll take it. There's alliteration, and I'm fine with that.
I know you're more north.
Literally could have said London, but
whatever.
It is what it is. How are you? I've got mini cheddars. They will be done very soon. I can't lie to you. I just punished
some pizza rolls. I don't know if you got those over there.
We don't have pizza rolls. Well, you could probably get them in like Iceland or something, but I know what they are, but I don't think they're not widespread, let's say.
Absolutely. Okay. Dan, how are you? Dan? Good to see you. Hope you are well. All right, we are going to start off.
You want to tell Danny what the show is? Since it's our fourth episode.
Yeah, we can do that. So
real quick, you might as well do your little spiel from that explains what we're doing.
I can do that. So, Danny, this show is meant to, I wouldn't say portray, but is like-minded to Around the Horn, if you've ever seen that on ESPN with Tony Reale, Woody Page, yada, 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 a bunch of other guys. And what we do is we ask Costia and Alan, our two participants, opinions on a topic, and whoever has the better opinion, judged by our one and only Charlie, will be awarded a point. And we are now in week 4, and I'm pretty sure, Charlie, can you remember who's in the lead? I don't think it really matters.
I tried there. I really did. I gave it my best.
Isn't it 2-1, Alan?
I think it's me.
Yeah, it's 2-1, Alan.
Oh, that maths checks out. Sure, let's go with that.
We've had 3 shows.
Yeah, exactly.
1-1, and Alan's 1-2.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Not a numbers guy, so I couldn't tell you.
And my reverse jinx from the Spurs match absolutely worked, by the way. So
you're
all welcome. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What are you eating, Charlie?
I was eating mini cheddar. Well, let me give you the breakdown. Okay, so I did just get finished eating a packet of mini cheddars original. Right?
From Jacobs.
From Jacobs themselves. From Jacobs themselves. And just in case you thought, Charlie, that's not enough cheese. That's right. I just ate a microwave spaghetti carbonara as well. So, I'm cheesed up. For someone who doesn't really like cheese, I'm cheesed up. I'm ready. And now, just in case, I've got stomach problems as well, so I probably shouldn't have that much cheese. It's fine. I've got a carbonated Pepsi Max. It's all good. We're good. This evening's gonna be banging, lads.
Let's go. Bro, don't worry. I'm a dairy king. I'm a dairy king.
I'm a fiend for the dairy, bro.
No dairy queen. I'm a dairy king, baby. All right. Are you lads ready to start it on off? All right. Let's get into our first topic. Let's talk about the Hank performance, takeaways, good or bad. How did you see it, Costia? Give me 1 second. Let me pull up my timer. And your 2 minutes starts now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go back to talking about fitness levels again, which I know is what everybody wants to hear. But I think that our class was still obvious, despite some players, I think, being at half their best just from playing so much. So honestly, I don't have a big reaction to the performance. It's kind of something I expected, which is we go up, but then it ends up being a draw. It's good that we didn't, totally capitulate and lose, because that would be typical West Ham, and we've been far from that this year. But I would say it was like an barely above average performance, really just average, C plus, B minus, to give it a grade. I thought Cresswell looked tired. I thought Antonio looked a little bit off. I thought Benrahma looked tired. People who play the most looked tired. Masuaku looked very eager to impress, maybe a little too eager. But I just don't think Cresswell had it to cover him at all times there. And I think that impacted Diop. Diop didn't look as good as he normally does. And most importantly, when Mark Noble's in there, our hearts tug because we're like, oh, it's Nobes, he's on. But really, it just means Rice has to work twice as hard to cover the missed up ground. So average performance, but it's okay. It doesn't hurt us. Not really.
You done?
Yep.
All right. Time is up. Even though I was very upset to go down early, we did come back. We were up, but we are still unbeaten in our last, 19 matches or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So positives to take away from all. Alan, your time starts now.
I thought it was an okay performance, at least from my point of view. Wasn't much troubling at the back. Like Costia said, Cresswell looked tired, and it made Diop look a little worse. And we struggled with Ito's and Painter's space a lot. I would say thankfully, but obviously a lot of compassion goes to Ito, who got injured. But with him not being at his best for the rest of the game, after that struggle on his ankle against Ariola, they just stopped really attacking us, as they had really nothing to go through. And the game really, I think, showed the flaws in our squad, because Noble he's an okay player, he's a good squad depth, but he's too slow. He's making, really, with his play, a lot of free space down the middle. And if we want to play attacking setup like against Henk, 4-2-3-1, with just Rice next to him, it just makes us struggle containing possession, and we really struggled in possession in that game. Benrahma was fantastic, I thought. Masuaku looked good. He's finally looking good after that injury. Antonio was tired. I think he was probably the worst on the pitch for us.
10 seconds.
Not much else than that. It was okay.
All right, time's up. Real quick before I give the floor to Charlie, I thought Masuaku slander was over the top, in my opinion. I thought he was covering for Cresswell most of the match. Cresswell because they both get forward, Cresswell was getting called out. I saw Masuaku once or twice full-on sprint down the flank to get back on defense, but that's neither here or there. Charlie, please, can I get a judgy ruling?
Yeah, all right. If you want one. I'm going to go 1-1 early doors. I think you both mostly agree with each other. I think there's a lot of similarities in that. I think if I was to give some sort of critique in general of the match and both the comments there, and you can all attest this because I said it in our group chat, I wanted Masuaku to do well. I thought he was all over the shop. Positionally, I thought he was all over the shop. And I think part of that, maybe not necessarily his fault. I felt like there was... David Moyes came out after and said apparently he was playing 5 at the back at the beginning of the game, which if he was...
I was confused by that.
And the thing is, at half-time on the watch-along, me and Gio came on and we had a discussion, and neither of us could decide what we were actually playing at the beginning of that game, whether it was 5 or whether it was 4. I thought it was 4. Gio was saying it was 5. But the fact that we were having this conversation shows just how all over the shop it was in that first 20 minutes, because I feel like two people who are watching the same game should at least be able to agree on roughly how many people are in defense. And if you're having that kind of argument, then it's just a mess. And so I don't want to. I'm not going to sit here and blame Masuaku for it entirely, but I strongly agree with the sentiment that Antonio was probably the worst player on the pitch. He's just looking shoddy at the moment. But when it comes to the two answers, yeah, I think 1-1's probably a fair result early doors, Mr. Chairman. I think both people agreeing by and large. And I think giving the point either way would maybe be unfair. So we'll stick with a one apiece early doors.
I'm all about fair. I'm a fair guy. I'm a fair chairman. And I love the ring of that, Mr. Chairman. Love that.
I thought I'd, spice it up just a tad, just give it to you there because, let the people know, you know what I mean?
I know you're Salt Bay. I'm Thomas Suchek, just enjoying my Saturday on this daylight savings. Well, for you, our daylight savings is tomorrow, 2 a.m. All right. Second topic, we're going to go on to some more Europa League. So with our draw, we have technically advanced to the next round on 10 points with the Dynamo Zagreb win over Rapid Vienna. And this brings up a discussion, two different opinions. Do you think now that because we are on to the next round, do you think that we should start rotating some U23s in? And I'm not talking them being on the bench because already there's about, I think on Thursday we had 2. I think it was Chester's and Baptiste. Can't recall entirely. I know it was those 2 at least. It could have been one more. But do you think that we should start rotating some U23s into the starting 11 now that we are technically through to the next round? Costia, we'll start with you again. Your 2 minutes starts now.
Oh man. Look, as somebody who's played, career mode on FIFA for about nearly 20 years, I would immediately play as many kids as possible for the rest of the qualifying matches for the group stage. I would play Ashby, Chesters, Baptiste, Alessi, Longello, and then Sonny Perkins scored twice today against Liverpool. I didn't even know who that was. I thought that was a jazz musician, but apparently it's a 19-year-old on our team. And I didn't even name Thierry Nevers and Okoflex yet. And you have Misaku, who's been with us forever. He must be 28 now. How is he still there? And so I would play all of these kids because they're not on loan, and many of them are too talented to not be on loan. And it's the reason we're in second place in the table in the PL2 standings. It's the reason we just beat Liverpool 3-0. Literally, like in the last hour, we played Liverpool as well as we are tomorrow. So I would play all those kids. But when you see Moyes only having Chesters and Baptiste for the Henk match, which was technically just drawable, right? We were so clear in the lead. I don't see him playing. He might start maybe one. When I think he should start like all of them, 7, 8. It doesn't really matter anymore. Start the damn kids. They're not on loan. They can't go on loan till January. The Carabao Cup is actually something we're competitive in. They might get to play an FA Cup game if we play Huddersfield or wherever, but whatever. Yeah, I'm good. Play them all.
Yeah, your time's up, Chief. Stop talking. All right, Alan, the floor is yours, my friend.
I do agree with Costia on the fact that we should play the kids. Just not sure if that many, because in my eyes, I want to progress from the top spot. I don't want to go through the second place, UCL, drop downs, fucking whatever. I don't want to play Barcelona after going off the rip after going through the group stages. So in the next game, I start maybe 1 or 2 to just ensure that we actually go through the top spot. In the last game, when everything's wrapped up, hopefully, I would play a few of them. At least Baptiste, Perkins, who's 17, not 19, but whatever. and he's a striker as well, so it could rest Antonio, which would be nice to say ahead of our schedule right now with City, Chelsea, etc. because it's awful. Nevers, I'd give a shot to, or Oko Flex. Not necessarily Ashby, because I want Sufal to play and go back to his best. In terms of midfielders, I'd rest also one of Rice or Suchek and play Pierre Ekwa-Limby, who we got from Chelsea for like £2 million in the summer. So yes, we should start a few of them, because loans are unnecessary and just hurt their development. And we should do with how many of them we can what we did with Rice and Johnson and Gakia.
5 seconds. All right. Very good. I agree with both of you lads. Especially with the loan part right now, because I really don't think Coventry's getting. I mean, he's playing some, but he's not really playing too many minutes over at Peterborough, or as much as we'd like to see.
He's Josh Cullen, MK2.
I hope not.
No.
I still hate that Josh Cullen's not in the West Ham shirt personally. I don't know why. I really hate it. But just a very quick fire question to the both of you to add. Nothing major, but do you because we are guaranteed to move on to the next round, do you think we can advance if we finish? Or basically what I'm asking, do you think we can beat the Champions League team that falls down if we finish second in our group? You think so? Alan, what do you think?
Yeah.
It depends on who that is, but most of them, I think we should. Unless it's like Real Madrid, then we'd struggle, obviously. Barcelona right now with Fati injured and Garcia injured, I think we could technically beat them.
I like the positivity. Charlie, please rule me.
Well, hey,
rule
them. You let him give full sentences. I only said a few times.
Rebuttal.
No, I just want to say that there's a reason I said start all the kids, because I think that a Europa League team that is playing well and qualifies is potentially more dangerous than a Champions League team that's not playing well and drops down. And are you motivated to do as well? Because it's like, oh man, it's like, well, the two below me are not going to get this, but it's like playing in the NIT. Like, do you really care? You know what I mean?
I get that. All right. Yeah. Now, Charlie, can you rule them?
The NFT, love that.
Love those. Love those.
It's the secondary college basketball tournament that the losers.
I assumed it was one of the. I assumed it was one of them, and I knew it wasn't NCAA, and I knew like the soccer one, if you want to call it that, is like the US. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. The point is, I figured it was one of them. You know, look, okay, this is something I think we all feel relatively strongly about. Probably everyone as a West Ham fan feels strongly about, right? We want to see as many kids getting time as possible. We want to see them getting on. We want to see them playing. And as much as I adore the idea of manager Costia going, screw it, our average age of this starting 11 is going to be like 12. Let's go mad. And I back it wholeheartedly. And as I won't say a FIFA thing, but as a PES manager mode type person as well. Listen, I'm here for it. Okay. On my current save, I've literally just released half the squad and just promoted the youth team. I ain't interested. Get rid. Right? As much as I'm here for that, I'm going to give the point to Alan, because I do think there is a level that you want to. There is an amount you want to get on the pitch. We don't want to do a Big Sam where you commit too many of them in a single game. Not only just because we're at risk of not topping our group, and I think, as Alan said, topping the group is of paramount importance. Listen, I do want to face Barca. I would just rather do it in the next round of 16 as opposed to in the playoff finals. I want whoever's the biggest team, bring them all, take them all down, no messing, no fear, zero miedo. But I do think that if you put too many in at once and it goes badly, that can also have a very bad effect on their confidence and their development as well. How many of those players from that famous absolute battering when Sam Allardyce put 5 or 6 or however many of the youth players in at once against who was it, Forest or whoever it was? How many of them have gone on to do it? None of them, I don't think. So I think there is a level of, you have to manage the deployment. Let's say, if we want to use military terms, because I'm I'm a general like that. You have to manage the deployment of the youth team. So definitely some, 100%. You're looking at Chesters. You're looking at potentially
Roadman
Ashby.
Warrior.
Giving them. Listen, I'm out here, bro. Letting the people know, deploying the boys, letting them know where the lads need to be.
Wow, that's a real quick. I'm gonna get that on a shirt. Deploy the boys.
Deploy the boys, bro.
Deploy the boys.
Deploy the boys. I'm not gonna be able to stop saying that now. I'm gonna say it nonstop.
That is so fire. I love that.
And the other thing to say as well, and this isn't a negative point to either point, but just something I think everyone knows. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, because I could be wrong. I'm pretty certain the likes of Okoflex, Nevers, and Ekwa can't play in Europa League for us this season due to registration rules. I think because they haven't been with the club long enough and weren't in the original registration period or weren't registered in the original squad, they can't then play in the Europa League. I believe. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case. But then that's fine. We'll just bung them in the League Cup against Tottenham when we battered them lot as well. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yes. And last thing on this topic, because you both mentioned a number of kids. Costia, if you had it your way, how many kids would you put in the starting 11?
If you say any less than 7 after your previous statement, I'm going to be disappointed. I want a full. I want children out there.
So you can't say that to me, but you just said seconds ago that Okoflex, Ekwa, and who's the third can't play.
Nevers. Basically, any of the youth players we signed this summer, essentially.
All right, so Nevers cannot play.
Realistically,
so that's a lot of my kids. 4 or 5.
Okay.
And to me, you can't just put our shittest starters in there, like our worst guys. You actually have to put in leaders who are going to support that. You have to do it intelligently. Also, Charlie, I'm sorry, but this argument that the reason 5 or 6 of our youth academy players at one point in time's careers all fell through the mud just because Nottingham Forest battered them 5-0. No, they were just shit. It's not like a nightmare.
You can't be that
nightmares affect you for a week. They don't affect you for years.
Think about it logically.
It's just one game.
Think about it logically. When someone gets put into the team, right? When you're how often do West Ham put a Let's go with a big name player like Vlasic or Haller or whatever.
Yeah.
And their first game doesn't go well, and then the entire West Ham fan base decides that they are the worst player who's ever played football and aren't worth it. And let me put it this way.
Those are adults. They're not 17, 18, 19. I don't
17,
think the West,
you telling me, bro, if I stubbed my toe on the street at 17, I was done for at least 4 weeks.
That's paid.
I was done for at least 4 weeks.
Paid grown-up professionals get criticism early. What the West Ham community is incredibly patient with young academy players. Ben Johnson has never gotten stick. Declan Rice has never gotten stick. No,
against Man United.
Thank you very much. Point proven.
Okay, and then the other problem is that you're too easily influenced by Twitter. As Dave Chappelle said, Twitter's not a real place. Okay, I'm talking about regular people who are maybe above the age of 40. They're not slating players that are 17, 18 years old.
Listen, Dave Chappelle's confusion about Twitter aside, because man is baffed about a lot of things in his life, right? He's out here, he's walking about saying he's counsel to sold out stadiums. I don't know what he's talking about, right? His confusion aside about the reality of what Twitter is, I'm saying realistically, right? It does genuinely affect you. And we can't just discount it as nothing. Again, like when you're young, the opportunities you get is very important. One of the best things about Johnson at the moment, I know this is a complete aside, and I apologize, everyone, but one of the best things about Johnson at the moment is he's getting game time with 10 of the other senior pros. So when he does naturally make a mistake, he's too far forward or doesn't cross the ball perfectly or whatever, because he's young and he's still learning, there are 10 of the other pros who know exactly what they're doing there to cover him and to recover, so it doesn't affect him as much. When you lob like 5, 6 of them in and they make a mistake and then the others can't cover them because they're also not ready, all of a sudden you're in for a bad time. And if you're in for a bad time, we know what David Moyes is like. He struggles to put people in at the best of times.
We're talking about Rapid Vienna, okay? And if somehow
a team who earned their way into the Europa League.
Okay, so if they're up 2 or 3-0, you have more subs in the Europa League. Take 3 kids out, put in some old geezers, and then they don't have the trauma from losing.
I would like to rescind everything I've said because he just used the word geezers, and I respect it too much. Costia wins. I want to rescind everything I said. He used the word. Look, Alan still gets the point in the decision, but Costia gets my heart because he did use the word geezers, and I can't dispute that. I'm sorry, Costia. I stepped down.
And
I step
Charlie
back.
is getting an honorary chairman's point.
Get in,
So
lads.
Costia and Charlie are tied, while Alan is up 2-1 to 1.
It's not how this show works.
And real
All
quick,
right, what's the next topic?
Real quick, because Alan did have a chance. Alan, realistically, how many U23 players would you put in one of our Europa League starting 11s? Realistically. Costia said 4.
2, 3 at max.
Okay.
But 2. Like Perkins and Baptiste, and that really should be it.
Okay. Just
Maybe
just wanted to
Chesters.
know.
Why Perkins? He's only showed up today.
No,
Brand new to the equation.
he's been scoring goals for our youth teams this season. He's been promoted from the U18s to U23s in the last month or 2.
Okay.
That's
Also,
my goal
I'll be
scoring
real.
celebration.
If he's actually a striker, he can get in my team, and I don't even know who the guy is. So get him in, put him in.
Yeah,
if he's an
he's
actual
our striker,
forward,
yeah.
we're here for it. You know.
All right, that was top quality. That was just a fly on the wall. That was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. Okay. Our next topic that's had Twitter going in an absolute frenzy. Besides Kral's whole fitness situation that's been going on for what's felt like forever. I think it was only 2 weeks that he's been out, but a lot of people are saying that I would say he was on short fitness because he just came back from dealing with COVID. I'm pretty sure we had a game on Thursday. He came back that Monday. But some people were saying, Kral, even on a short week, should have gotten a start over Noble. And we should dive into that real quick and see what your opinion is on that. Alan, I'm going to give you the floor first. What do you think about Kral over Noble, or should have Noble started, even with Kral back on a short week? Time starts now.
Kral over Noble. I'd start Kral over Noble every week. But the way because Noble started, I agree with the fact that Noble started because COVID is much different to injury, and if if Kral was out with a knock or another injury, then I'd probably start him and then sub him out. But it's a much different thing with COVID because how it attacks the way you can breathe and getting him
immune
training.
systems and all that.
Yeah.
In it.
In it, yeah. and I would just done the same as David Moyes started Noble or anyone else in that position and let Kral grow into the game with a substitution later on.
If you had it your way, would you have brought Kral on earlier than what he did?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. Because we also have to look at his health more than at the results.
Gotcha. All right, your time is done. Costia, you are up, pal. Your time starts now.
Okay, I really need to win this point, and I'm going to win this point by saying this conversation about his health is absurd. Okay, the man is fully vaccinated. He is an elite athlete. He sent a picture on Twitter to tell everyone. He said, I feel good and I will be back soon. And the picture is him on a bicycle. Okay, it's literally him saying, look, I'm completely fine. Okay, the man should be starting over Noble, obviously. Like Alan and I are going to agree there. But this whole thing of let's be careful because his poor lungs. No, he's a professional midfielder. He has some of the best lungs in the entire world. Okay, COVID cannot do anything to him, and he's vaccinated on top of that and posting pictures of himself biking. So let's get rid of this ridiculous, we maybe Noble started because Alex is still feeling the COVID. No, he never felt the COVID to begin with. He's been on his bike every single day. He's perfectly fit. Noble is fit, but 36.
Just like Alan, I'm eating this up.
No, Kral should start every single time. And that's what the brain says. but the heart says, we love you, Nobes. We want to see you out there. And David Moyes, at the end of the day, is an empathetic person and a loyal person, and he loves a veteran, and he's going to keep playing him when he shouldn't. Okay, but it should be Krall, and it should have been Krall, and Krall is fit. He's been fit this whole time. Okay, he's just following disease. I don't know what your CDC is over there in Europe. I don't know. Who do you talk to? The UN? I don't know who you talk to.
They talk to me.
He's
I decide.
fit, and he's fine, and he's just following COVID protocol. Okay.
They talk to a top lad.
They talk. They hit me up, but they slide into my DMs and they go, "Yo, is he allowed?" And I go, "Not yet." And then they have to wait. First of all, before we say anything, Chairman, can I give you an honorary point for that? That was a beautiful one.
Yes.
We need to give that.
I'm marking myself down right now for a point.
Get the point down. Get the point down.
I'm not gonna lie, I was very excited to say that. As soon as I saw Alan picked up the bowl and Costia was going on his passionate rant, I said, "Oh boy, I cannot." There he is. Yep. I cannot wait to drop this bomb on him. Because
Alan, what is it? Out of interest, this is Charlie time now. What we saying?
Yeah. This is the food point. Food point.
Hot, spicy Chinese noodles.
Oof. Big plays. Big plays. You got to respect it.
Oh, all right. Oh, I'm so happy I don't have to judge because Costia really came out with the scorcher. Charlie, please somehow decide.
Okay. Now, we're in a dilemma here because, as most people know, Costia included, I like his volume. When Costia is loud, I'm having a good time. I always like it. Any show I've ever seen.
Real quick. I forgot to say this. I'm sorry. But Moyes is what I like to call a mafia boss. Once you're in, you're in. And it's hard to get in when you're on the outside.
Yeah,
continue.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
100%. No, that's it's 100%. I think Costia knows, and whenever I've seen Costia in the shows, whenever I've been on with Costia, sometimes I get overawed by his volume that I just can't be not. Do you know what I mean? I just enjoy it too much, and so we're in a struggle here because he came and he was loud, turned up to 11. Do you know what I mean? What's the difference between 10 and 11? Costia is the difference. That's the answer to that question. That age-old answer, right? The point's going to go to Alan. Costia is wrong on this one, unfortunately. As much, and again, this is why I'm struggling because you were so loud, bro, and I needed to back the beef because I hear the beef from here, and I'm like, I want it backed. But Alan is like the thing is, if he was able to play, he would have played. If he was able to start, he would have started. The problem is he wasn't. I understand the point you're making. We don't know what kind of effects he was feeling. Just because someone is fit doesn't mean they necessarily don't get affected by it. If I was to take it back to something I know deeply and well, even more than West Ham, wrestling, Keith Lee recently got it and hasn't been the same since. He struggled massively with it, and he is even more of an elite athlete than Alex Krall is, despite being about 400 pounds.
I would just like to say I'm also fit, but not really fit.
Yeah. I would. Yeah, but the point is that I think Alan is correct on this one. It's one of those things where you don't know we don't know the full effect, and that's the problem. If he's sitting there and he wasn't unaffected, he was completely unaffected and he was completely fine, he probably would have started that game. The fact that he got substituted on shows that there's some doubts about that. Because again, if he wasn't okay, then he wouldn't have played at all. The fact he got substituted on shows that the medical team at least had some doubts. You just
undid your entire argument with that sentence at the end just there.
No, because if
he's not okay,
here's the logic. Here's the logic.
Either he's okay.
No.
Either he's coughing or he's not.
Costia, hear the words. Again, I love the volume, but hear the words, right? If he was completely okay,
and Alan runs away with the points.
He did is a banger. If there were no effects whatsoever, he would have started the game, as he has done previously before this problem. If there were some issue, if he was still suffering, then he wouldn't have even traveled. The fact that he was there and played a bit shows that there was at least some concern, which suggests that there were some issues at some point. Now, again, we don't know the full extent of that. It's difficult for us to say. None of us are the physios at the club. We don't have access to his medical records.
I think
we don't have his medical records, but But it is a case where you have to manage it perfectly. And I would make the same argument for when Kufal was coming back and why I was fine with him getting subbed on but not starting, because he's just come back from a difficult injury and you have to work people back into this. So for me, the point goes to Alan. As much as I did love Costia, and I have to stress it. It hurts me not to be able to give the point to Costia.
Well, you could,
really
and you did it, and you're wrong because you're completely disregarding David Moyes in this entire equation. You're taking it from a health perspective exclusively, and you're not thinking about how stubborn and loyal the man is at the same time, which is a dangerous combination. That's it.
Charlie, yeah. One more rebuttal to that, or are we calm?
Oh, if David Moyes was going to play him, he would have played him, but he didn't. So there we go. He's clearly an issue.
Okay, it's not related to COVID.
It is what I disagree strongly, but it is what it is. Look, I'm not saying David Moyes might not have included him because of COVID, but I'm saying the facts are there and the evidence is there to suggest it. And again, it's difficult for us to talk about the COVID issue specifically because we don't have access to his medical records. We can't say
you're
exactly
absolutely correct, but they always tell us when they're symptomatic or when they're not. It's almost always in the news.
I would also make this argument for Alan getting the point as opposed to you. Alan took the answer and he gave us both sides of it. You concentrated solely on one thing that we can't prove either one way or the other. I might disagree with you on which way it goes, but at that point, it's still unprovable. Alan, he gave us all sides. So I'll give Alan a point. But again, I want to stress, Mr. Chairman, and I feel like this needs to be said. The volume, though, and I love it. We haven't seen it too often on this show yet. I've seen it many times in Costia. I've heard it. I felt it in my soul, and that was one of those times where there's been times he's unleashed it, and that was one of them. It was difficult not to, but Alan does get the point.
Guess what? I am going to use my chairman powers, and I'm going to reward Costia a half a point for passion.
Okay, well that means there's definitely a winner this game. There can no longer be a draw. We've got 2 points left to give. We've got 2 points left to give, and all of a sudden there is guaranteed a winner in this for the half point.
As the financial Pig Six would call Costia, a passion merchant.
Okay. Much like
that's how you got rewarded your half a point, and I respect it. So, and I gave myself half a point when Alan walked away, and I said, "And Alan runs away with the point."
I respect that.
I'm giving myself a half a point. So it is. It's now Alan 3, Costia 2.5. That's so funny. And Charlie has 1, and I have an honorary 1.5.
1.5, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. That was absolutely brilliant. The banter today is top notch. All right. So for our last topic, winner take all. Again, I can still use my chairman powers and double the points, deduct. I can do whatever I want. Charlie's just my
question.
judge. Yes.
Shouldn't Costia be on 1.5?
That's a true point. That is a real point.
Still guaranteed a winner, but you are correct on that. My account, when you said that, the accountant part of my brain kicked into gear.
All right, I'm gonna take away half a point, and I'm gonna give Costia a point, so it's 3-2. Just because I can, I'm gonna make it controversial. But Alan, you are right, and we all know, even when people are right, they're sometimes wrong, and I'm willing to take that heat. I'm willing to take that heat. Because, like I said, Costia with an absolute passion merchant display for the ages.
Very, very.
And I hope he's appreciative, as I am, for the entertainment he just provided me. So, our last topic, we're going to talk about the big match tomorrow. Big match. I mean, every week I feel like is a big match. And you know what? I like it that way. I love that every match we've played so far has been absolutely important to our season. And as we currently sit right now, we're still in 4th. Man U just got not walloped, but a good fashion 2-0 defeat, which helps us out a little bit. If we win tomorrow, Charlie, at the top of your head, do you know where we jump?
At least 3rd, but could be 2nd. If Manchester City get a win, then they would go into 2nd, and we would go 3rd. But if we get the win and Manchester City draw or worse, then we go 2nd.
Manchester City already won 2-0 today.
Is that their game in hand? Because I've been fucking busy. I've been eating
Yeah,
spaghetti carbonara.
No. We can't.
Okay.
We're gonna be third. We can't be second because of goal differential.
Okay. But we can.
That makes sense. So we would have a game in hand on them. Technically, it's Saturday. Oh my god, it's Saturday, people. Yeah. That makes sense. So yeah, we would go third because City won.
All right.
Yeah.
But like I said, big game. If we win, we go third. And my God, would West Ham Twitter absolutely erupt into a giant, I don't even know what to call it, celebration station.
Mm-hmm.
Shout Lil Uzi Vert. Celebration station. Costia, I want you to give me your. I know I only gave Alan one time in a row, and I've given you two in a row to start off. But because you.
I mean, it's why Alan's going to win, because that's how Charlie's memory works. You know, whoever went most recently is.
How dare you?
He's a bit like a
playing
or
a dangerous game, my friends. Dissing my memory like that. Can I remember anything? No, never. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean I don't remember what.
A distinct disadvantage. It's like playing away versus playing home. You know, when you get to go second, because it's more resonant in the hollows of Charlie's mind. And
they're playing a dangerous game, sir.
He's saying you're not from my ends. We're enemies.
No, I'm just kidding. Charlie is really half elephant. They say he just remembers all.
That
facts
is true. That is
and
true.
all knowledge.
Because Costia has provided me such entertainment today, and obviously all of us. I'm gonna let you go first, Costia. I want you to give me your Liverpool match prediction, how the game's gonna go, and your final score.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, good luck.
Okay. Yep. Usually, you know, in my 20 years of being a West Ham fan, usually we are the team that piles on the injuries, and you know, it's fun to blame the porta cabins and the fact that our outdoor pitches are not heated and things like that. But this time it's Liverpool. You know, Liverpool is one of the few teams that I genuinely fear. But when you tell me that they've got 3 or 4, you know, meaningful injuries, that tips the scales for me just a little bit.
Those injuries real quick?
I can. They are Curtis Jones, Joe Gomez, Roberto Firmino,
all right,
and Nabi Keita. I don't know how you say his first name. I don't know if there's an L on there. If I'm thinking of another guy, Keita. Okay,
it's Nabi. It's Nabi. You're good. You know it. You know it.
It's like when you can't quite remember the name Middleton and you go Kate Middleton.
Love her.
Anyway, those 4 being out, I think really, especially Firmino, really helps us out. And Keita has actually played really well this year, even though he hasn't been central to their plans in the past. He's usually been like a bench guy. So I think that's disruptive enough for Magic West Ham with its sparkling form to win 2-1. I expect the same starting lineup as last week. I do think Ben Johnson will keep playing. Since, correct me if I'm wrong, but Soufal started against Henk, did he not? Yeah. So I'm expecting the same lineup, and 2-1, Antonio goal, Fornal's goal, and I suppose a Salah goal, to be more specific. And that's
that'd be great for the fantasy team. I wouldn't mind.
Yep.
He is my captain too, sadly.
No, Antonio's my captain.
Not sadly, because you know I do like Salah. He's one of the big 6 like players that I genuinely don't like hate with a passion.
He's all right.
He's surprisingly ripped. Every time he takes his shirt off, I'm like, there's more muscles there than I remembered last.
I say,
time.
Mama, there goes that man again. Again. I have to call 911.
I love all the pictures of him like training with the team, like in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and there's just all these memes about diving. And he's always like smiling. He always looks like he's having.
He's a synchronized diver.
Yep. Exactly.
I'm giving myself another half a point. Oh my gosh, I'm at 2.
But Chairman's storming this game right now. Just points left, right, and center
right now. This is brilliant.
Not when Charlie's through with this round.
Oh,
sending the
we need a little. Yes, there we
go. I've already forgotten what you said. Shit. Alan, you'll go.
I knew it.
Alan, you're up. Let me know. Give me your Liverpool prediction, how the match is going to go, and your final score, starting now.
I'd love to give you a prediction of the game, but I won't give you one because I have absolutely no clue how it's going to go. I have fucking no idea. Because usually we were shit, they were very good. So we would go there hoping to get a draw at least, or anything. We usually get smashed because that's how being a West Ham fan is. But right now, we are very good, they are very good. Anything can happen, really. It could end a draw, we could, I don't know, beat them 3-0. They could smash us 6-0. Going by anything that I would have maybe tried to predict, is going to be a 2-2 draw. And with Salah scoring both, or Salah or Mane, I have absolutely no idea.
I agree. It's literally two forces colliding, but we're more massive, if you ask me, of course. Alan,
the unstoppable force was the immovable object, as it were.
Alan, you still got 40 seconds if you want to make one final pitch, or are you done?
Benrahma is scoring again, and that's all.
Yes, cheek, the cheek on this lad. All right, your time's up, Charlie. Please make the decision. Oh, by the way, me and Costia are tied on points, and I'm tied with him based off jokes. So that's
you've been bringing the fire today, to be fair. Okay. While I think about it, let me say this: I'm terrified. I really am. Liverpool not only
I'm masking it with laughs.
Yeah, not only are they stupidly informed, they're undefeated this season. They play the style of football that
are we home or away?
We're home. We're at home. But they play the style of football that we struggle with. Brentford, Leeds in the first half, for example. They're gonna push us just like they did. So I'll be real with you. I'm not expecting a win. I think I'm kind of low key expecting a loss, and I'm fine with that as long as the performance is there. And you can come out of it and go, do you know what? We actually gave that. I
usually hate a moral victory, but tomorrow, like you just said, I would take a moral victory if we looked good.
Yeah, I think we're getting a little bit above our station to some extent, looking at it and saying, well, we look how good we're playing. We can take anyone, and we can take anyone. But at the same time, Liverpool are a better team than us. They're undefeated, and we've looked somewhat shaky for a little while, including literally in the game against Genk. So I'm scared. I can't act like I'm not. I'm going to give the point to Alan. And it's because I can't remember anything Costia said.
It's because you're scared to lose to Liverpool. It's understandable. But if you look at who they've played over the last few games, the only teams that are on form as well as us are Brighton and Man City. They drew both of those games. So just saying. And the other two games they won. The other three games they won is freaking Watford and then 2 red cards. So,
but they also play. They're also like Leeds, but better. Imagine that. Leeds, right? What? Yeah, exactly. And we struggled in the first half big time against the team who play. And look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're 1-for-1 the same style of system, but they're going to press us just like Leeds pressed us. And yet Leeds are in 16th, and Liverpool have yet to be beaten this year. I don't think we're going to be first. I don't want it to be the case. I really don't. But I do think. But like I said, for me, this one, I look at it and I think the performance is more important for me.
Genuinely, Lucas, can we institute a new rule? Tell me what you think of this rule. If Alan or I get a match prediction like spot on, like say we do win 2-1 tomorrow, then I start next week with a point ahead.
Oh, that is very cheeky. Alan said 2-2, and you said 2-1.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I want my previous points for previous predictions because I had at least one spot.
No, this isn't retroactive. It starts. We have to do things. We have to do things fresh. We can't give anybody 4-week-old beef. It has to be fresh from the grinder, and you can't just. What is this, golf? You can't go back and change the points.
I did want to put this in because Costia did make a good point. Liverpool have not Liverpool obviously in Champions League, but their Premier League match record not very impressive. Norwich, Burnley, Leeds, Crystal Palace, who are in a little bit of form, I will say. They drew to Brentford. They beat Norwich again. They drew Man City. They beat Watford. Pummeled United. Drew Brighton. They really haven't played too many gargantuan teams like us, I will say. But
they are still undefeated. Yes,
that's true. And credit to them. And today is not going to be one of those days where I use my chairman powers to reward Costia an extra point. So Alan wins again, 4-2. Actually, you know what? Because I love you so much, Costia, and you brought so much passion, I'm going to give you 1.5 points. So you're going to lose 4-3 instead of 4-2. Because I love you so much.
Well, thank you. I'm going to... That's your Christmas gift to me this year, is it? Thank you.
Because I finished on 2 point off memeing, and I didn't think it was right for me to be tied with you with just jokes today. And Charlie finished with 1. Actually, me and Charlie are going to finish tied because he brought some great discussion and heat today.
Love that. I'll take that.
But
loving that joint last from us.
Yes, and as the crowd cheers.
And I saw somebody in the chat. You shared it on there. Said Little Uzi Vert is a West Ham fan, and then I went and did some research.
That would be huge.
That's completely false. He first off, he's too high out of his mind to barely even know what the sport is. But when he does support someone, it's Club America in Mexico.
Oh,
that's the only evidence of any soccer fandom or football fandom I could find.
Well, you know
from
what?
That particular rapper.
You know what? Because I love Lil Uzi Vert so much, I'm just going to keep that in my heart forever that he's a West Ham fan. And no one's going to be able to change my mind until he comes out and says anything. But, so yeah, Alan wins this week. I think Alan is lifetime 3-1 now. Let him know. But yeah, like we said, big match tomorrow. Do any of you have any lasting words or prayers, maybe euphemisms that could maybe push us over the edge?
I like this Alan prediction of Ben Rama scoring. I'll tell you what, I feel like Ben Rama's got a bit of a thing going right now. I'm a big fan of this idea of him scoring, to be honest. That was the one thing I would say about Costia, your answer about the Hank game that I disagreed. I don't think the more that game went on, the better he got. That once the substitutions happened, he was basically unstoppable. I'd love a Ben Rama goal. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Costia, who do you want to score tomorrow? I mean, obviously we'll take anyone, but who would really?
Like I said,
he said. I was gonna say, to prove my point that I can remember stuff. Antonio and Fornals was what he said. Yeah. Thank you very much. See, there's something up here.
Another point to
I'm
Charlie.
Not just looks.
He beat me.
I'm not just looks. Thank you very much. Does that mean I'm tied with Costia?
I'm going to go, because I am the chairman, I'm going to go an absolute belter. 4-3. 4-3, no defending. We're going to have Antonio, Ben Rama. Kurt Zuma is finally going to get a goal. He has to get a goal. And then Craigie Dawes, 87th minute. He subbed on, flying salmon, slamming salmon header for the win. And Mo Salah, because I have him captain, is going to have a hat trick.
Love that.
All right. Everybody, thank you for tuning in again, chat. We love you. Thank you for all your comments and your input. I'm going to give a quick shout out to everyone. Danny, thank you. Paul, Vernon, Wally, Joe Lafort, love that name. That is a world of a name. Foshizi, thank you as always. Big ups. Ben JC, thank you. And, Wally, Vernon, Fo, Oh, and Tom.
This is not my grandfather's chair. This is just a chair my girlfriend found somewhere.
Yes, a little cheeky Desmond.
But I do like it.
Found somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where she found it. She probably got it on Facebook Marketplace, to be completely honest with you.
It's just some
had
girlfriend
to have
found
a
it somewhere,
guess.
dumped it here. I've adopted it as my own. I love that. Respect.
All right. Until next time. Hopefully, we have a lot to talk about next week. We're on international break. Hopefully, there's some dramatics that happen tomorrow that we might have another episode on Saturday. But as always, thank you all, gents. Thank you for the time. I appreciate you all. And only one last thing to say. Come on, you Irons. Big game. Come on.
Big game. Big plays. Come on.
Man,
Let's go.
Lucas with his best soccer mom impression.
Deploy the boys.
Oh, soccer moms don't say
Deploy
man
the
or
boys.
in it.
Deploy the boys.
Oh, deploy the boys.
Deploy the
Deploy the
boys.
boys. Men